Hello, everyone. Jose J. Garcia with Mobile Home University here. Very special guest here with us today, Brandon. Brandon is a mobile home dealer, investor, owner, and founder of Mobile Home GuyZ, located out of Phoenix, Arizona. Correct?
You got it.
Yes, sir. Brandon, how you doing?
Good, man. Back to the new year, and what a long year. So having to reactivate the goal setting has been interesting to say the least. Getting ready to go just got back from vacation, and then my wife and I are about to do we think a month-long vacation. We bought a one-way flight to Costa Rica. We leave next
Wow.
week, and we'll see when we come back. But we got so many projects going on. So looking forward to that. But other than that, man, doing pretty good. Hope you guys are doing well over there, and business is rocking. And hopefully you guys have some energy to kick off a new year.
Absolutely. I didn't even know they were flying right now with COVID out the overseas and such. So that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, some countries are closed. We have to get specific, health insurance and testing done. So we're avid travelers. So this past year was tough on us, kind of having to stay put and kind of doing some local traveling, so to speak. And we got to get out, man. We're going crazy.
Oh yeah. No, the world's definitely about to start to travel. That's for sure. So, Brendan, I feel like I can relate to you in many ways. I watch a lot of the stuff you put on YouTube, and of course, we do. I think a lot of the similar stuff. We're just one side of the country, I'm on the other kind of thing. So, but tell us, what is a mobile home?
Yeah. A mobile home. Well, it's definitely not an RV. And you type in mobile home on Google, sometimes a camper will show up, and it's not a camper. So they are stationed properties. Anything prior to 77, 76, we consider them mobile. Anything after that, they are manufactured. And those manufactured homes are a little bit more mobile, so to speak, than the mobile homes, because anything you move that's in that 70s range, they're going to fall apart. But essentially, they are properties that are, less than 2,500 square feet, depending on where you're from. Majority of the properties that we're running into are usually around that 900 to 1,100 square foot range. We've seen some pretty big ones, but it's just another avenue for folks to go in the affordable route. Those who aren't aware of mobile homes, or kind of the price points in regards to those. We're seeing properties in Arizona that are going for, as low as, $5,000 and $4,000. I mean, so this is really an aspect of transitioning that affordability route for people who have perhaps been stationed in rentals for the longest time. Now they have an opportunity to own, and at a fraction of the cost. So hopefully that answers some of those questions.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to hear that, but shockingly, it actually still very much alien to some people, especially real estate investors. I follow a lot of these Facebook group pages, and that's how I connect with my students, this sort of thing, and or create students out of it. But I tell them, it's the hidden great side of real estate you can invest in. But you tell them mobile homes, and some people are surprised. A lot of people still don't know what a mobile home is. It's just not something they grew up around, never saw, or I don't know how you miss it. But I guess you don't see what you're not looking for, in a sense. But
that's it right there. If you don't know what you're looking at, you drive by it all the time. It doesn't phase you, right? Until it becomes conscious, it's nothing.
Sure. So how did you get started in mobile homes? What was that initial trigger?
Yeah. So it's kind of a backstory. And I think this is maybe where you and I built a little bit of quick rapport in our conversation the first time we spoke. But I used to speak at seminars, and I was a vendor for many years for a smaller company that was connected with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Elite Legacy. And I ended up getting kind of sucked into investing in real estate through the means of just being connected to the company I was working for, who was then connected to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Elite Legacies symposiums. So ended up, kind of running into a few people there that were clients of mine, started, understanding what they were doing and how they were parking money in, assets that were giving them, returns on investments that were greater than, the stock market. That was kind of the terminology that we still hear to this day, but that was certainly spoken about quite often at those seminars. And I ended up meeting somebody that, and at the time, this might be almost 6 years ago now, she was investing in mobile homes. And at that time, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was, at that time, people weren't investing in mobile homes at these seminars. They were solely focused on flipping real estate. And I was kind of interested because she gave me some information, filled me with some knowledge and recognizing that, and again, like we just said, you just don't know what you don't know, that you can buy some of these properties for $500,
Yeah.
$1,000 and make a profit on them after doing some renovation. And there's all the exit strategies that you would use perhaps in real estate that can be used with mobile homes, such as seller financing, lease carry, that kind of thing, flipping, of course, wholesaling. And for me at the time, I was broke. I was working for the man. I was, pushing, trading time for money. And the idea at that time is, okay, well, how do I get ahead? How do I make some money so where I can kind of control my destiny, but not break the bank account? And that's why I was so captured by this individual. And her and I ended up partnering up. We did some deals, did a lot of business in Texas. We're raising capital from investors who we then parked the funds into mobile homes. And we gave those investors a return on their money. Long before I know it, I decided to open up my own dealership out in Arizona and been doing this. Have had my business for about 4 years now, and have been flipping, focusing on flipping, seller financing, and wholesaling. And now we have, a brokerage of people that are hanging their license and going out and doing what we teach them to do, making sure they don't make bonehead mistakes, and accurately helping out, customers get their property the right way without, some of the battles that you could possibly go through if you're a customer buying a home from just some random for sale by owner. So long story long, hopefully that gives you kind of an
That's
insight.
great. Absolutely. So you're full-time mobile home investing at this point and everything else that you do. How was it like finally quitting corporate America? And I quit last year, July 2nd. I fired them. And then I celebrated July 4th. But what was that feeling like when bye corporate America?
Yeah, big shout out to my mentor at the time, Justin Colby. He's a local investor here. And I remember him telling me, we sat down one day and he's like, Brandon, you need to get 3 months of income that will suffice for paying off your bills, giving you some fun money, and whatever that dollar amount is. Once you get that, that's when you quit your job. And so I, one day wrote down all my bills. I went through my statements, made sure I had the accurate number, because the worst thing you can do is say, oh, okay, it's only 15 grand I need to save up, and you realize you spend 25 grand over 3 months. And so I found out that exact number, and I had a goal to hit that number within about, the goal at the time was to hit it within a year. And I don't know what it is, but once you bring things to consciousness, and you really are focused on that goal, and like nothing's going to stop you, there's no excuse in the world for you to rely on. You can hit your, like, I don't care if COVID times 10 is hitting, you're going to hit your goal if you're focused on it. And I was able to accomplish my goal in like 30 days or 60 days, something like that, well ahead of time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I planned to have this conversation with my boss 10, 11 months from now. I'm about to have this conversation that, hey, I'm letting you go, Mr. Boss, and I'm going to start my thing. Of course, that it wasn't facetious like that. It was certainly a kind walk away from the company, but it was freeing. I was scared, but I had the right people behind me, and it was like it's amazing. I was listening to this on a podcast. Hope you're cool with me sharing it. But we're conditioned to not be risk takers. But what's funny about that is we're conditioned to say, all right, we got to go work for somebody, and they're going to help us provide for our retirement. They're going to contribute to our 401ks, maybe give us a pension. And we're conditioned to, from an early age, right, to rely on somebody to help feed us. And I see the irony in
We're
all of
taught
that.
that, yeah.
Right. I see the irony in all of that, and how I think it's more, and I didn't see it at the time, risk taking to work for somebody and have them be our food provider. And gosh, when you exit a job, and okay, I do have some money set to the side, I have the next 3 months to kind of cover me, you kind of go into a do or die mentality, right? And all of a sudden you're years ahead, and you're covered, and you got it. And sometimes you just need to kind of step outside and take that chance. It's a scary chance. And shoot, man, best decision I ever made was to aim for the goal, get my 3 months income that I need to cover my bills and quit corporate America.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's definitely a comfort zone to so many people, and 9 out of 10 people that have a job hate their job, so they can't say otherwise. They do it just because it's, in a way, it's kind of also just something that they've always done. They see everybody else doing it, so I can do it, whatever. But that was and I was on the verge of, I was really holding on way too long that I should have had. But when COVID really hit, I was let go, and that was a real eye opener. Like, oh, this whole security that you think you have, it was as simple as a phone call. Hey, we got to have a conference. I was a logistics manager, and due to COVID, blah, whatever, we're gonna let you go at this time until further whatever. And they did bring us back, which I hesitated hard to come back, but I ended up going back. But my mindset was already, I got to go. It was, it didn't work out. That was more than I needed. And of course, my mentors were telling me, "You're ready. You're ready." So, and I did. I ended up July 2nd. I remember leaving, and it was just, oh, I had nightmares, no doubt. And it's scary. And that's what scares people, is you're doing something that nobody else is doing probably around you. You read about these people, you hear about them, but your family member isn't doing it. So it is you who has to take action and, get it on. That's all you can do.
Yeah, no, there's definitely um yeah, you have to be bold. I think that's where it's scary. Being bold, especially in an area where there isn't too much people doing what you and I do. So to be able to rely on somebody that has experience in this, um, depending on where you're at in the States, you may come across the fact that you're on an island of your own and you're gonna have to figure things out. And thank God we have Zoom. Thank God we have YouTube, right? We can
Yeah,
reach out and connect with other people like
sure.
yourself and hey, pick your brain. Like, hey, Jose, what am I doing wrong here? What are you doing to overcome these hurdles with a seller or a buyer or whatever circumstance might be. But yeah, I know what that feeling feels like, man. Big congrats to say, boss, you are fired. Well, in other words, he kind of forced you to say that in a sense. So congrats to you,
Absolutely.
man.
And you definitely pre-plan something. Have some type of strategic plan to go to and surround yourself. Do you believe in the saying, say yes and figure it out later?
Yeah. Yeah. So just to make sure I understand. So the question is, do I believe in saying yes and figure it out later? Um, I would say most things, but I wouldn't say that to a spouse or soon to be spouse. Hey, marry me and say yes, and we'll figure out this relationship later. No, I think we kind of build on that. So that's why I want to carefully answer this question. But when it comes to business,
Taking action, sure.
yeah, taking action is important. I want to know, and it's funny. The more like transactions we will do within our business, we kind of know right away what we're saying no to before it even happens. But I remember early into flipping manufactured homes, there was a lot of times where I'm just like, all right, let's catch the knife as it's falling, kind of thing. Like, let's just do it. And so more so earlier into the business, yeah, I'm a big firm believer of get in it, figure it out. And most of the time you'll come up on top because you just took the action and most people won't.
Correct. Yeah, and that's what I tell a lot of people. So many people sit on the sidelines just talking about it, and it's like, there is no book, there is no program that's going to answer every question for you. You have to get in, and it's scary. But what will you learn from it? That's what gets you to the next deal, and the next is that taking action. And stop worrying about knowing at all. No such thing, and it doesn't trigger. Let's talk about mobile homes here. What is a typical? I mean, are you flipping most of them? Do y'all do wholesale?
Yeah, most of so the last, I guess now we can say 2020, this last year, we primarily focused on brokering deals. So when I started the company, had the whole goal in mind was to seller finance properties. I wanted to replace whatever income it was that I had in mind that would satisfy me. So I said, all right, let's break this down. How many properties do we need to obtain to make X amount of money based on how much income each property should make? So we kind of did that mathematical, reverse mathematics, or kind of doing the math in a backwards way just to find out that number. And as we got the property, the portfolio operating, and having all these mobile homes pay for our monthly expenses. Then we can focus on flipping homes. So we then started buying a lot of properties and flipping them. We would do quick flips. So basically buying the property, cleaning up the toilet and throwing it right back on the market. And then this last year, we really heavily focused on listing properties and acting as the broker. And that was one of my, that was one of the things that really helped us accomplish our goal this last year, 2020. I remember sitting down December 31st, 2019. And every year, my wife and I, we sit down, and she's a huge part of our business, by the way, and a huge part of our success. I remember sitting down and December 31st, 2019, and saying, all right, I want to disposition or sell 60 manufactured homes in 2020. And we were just coming off a year where we sold 43 properties. So I said, all right, let's go for 60. And I'm glad that we went into the route of implementing another exit strategy and listing properties, and more heavily doing that in comparison to the year prior. And we sold 66 homes just this 2020 year. And that was a combination of flips, seller financing, and brokering properties. So it's been something that we've really been focusing on a lot.
Right. No, that's great. Goal setting. That's huge. So, okay. Do you virtually invest or have in the past? Out of state, maybe?
Not out of state. So I'll kind of tell you what my wife and our focus is. So she's a realtor, and she, in addition to that, she has her own off-market wholesale team. So she does a lot of wholesale as well. So she's got a bunch of cold callers doing her calls for her. What we like to focus on is her generating cash from her wholesale business and me generating cash from my brokerage. And then once we have the cash, whatever that amount is, we're then invested in real estate. So we want to go buy real estate and build up our rental portfolio. So this last year, we bought 7 doors. We bought 4 rental houses, and we bought 3 rental houses and then a 4-plex. So we got 7 doors. And wow, if it's not for our mobile home business that's really pumping the cash into our real estate, we wouldn't be able to accomplish those goals. So the end goal in mind is to have 120 rental properties, real estate. And in order for us to get that, I already know that between now and the next 5 years, I need to make X amount of money in order to get to the 120 units that I want to have in 20 years from now. So it all goes back to math, knowing, okay, based on how much money we're going to make, based on flipping properties, listing properties, and how much work and effort we're going to have to do in order to pay to accomplish that, pay our employees, we should have X amount of money by 5 years. And over that 5 years, we should have acquired, 40, residential properties or multi-units. And by 20 years from now, we should have about 120. So I just threw a lot of numbers, but the goal isn't for you to capture the numbers. My goal is to get you to see, looking at it from a backwards perspective, like what is our goal in mind? How do we get to that goal? And how many properties do we need to acquire in order for us to get anywhere close to that goal?
Oh, that is huge. I love those goal setting, and y'all are very active. Congratulations. That is awesome. And that's what you need, is you have to have those goals and definitely work backwards is where do you see yourself? And then, yeah, absolutely. The parks that you are investing in or that you have out there, it's Phoenix, Arizona. I've never been, by the way. I plan on taking a trip soon, but are there more age restricted, or these all age parks that you see?
Good question. Majority of the time, the properties that we're working with are certainly in combination of both communities, but we see a heavier footprint of 55 plus communities. It just seems to be and I'm looking at it from the investor's perspective, because everybody owns a park is an investor, right? There's probably several partners involved. But looking at it from their angle, they want to keep cleanliness. And I'm not sure about Texas. I would imagine it's fairly similar. But we start to see a lot of the family parks kind of go into a rougher position that you perhaps as an investor would want to have happen. So I see a lot more 55 plus communities out here. But if I can give you a number off the top of my head, I'm going to say there's, 150 family parks, 355 plus parks in Maricopa County. Don't quote me. If someone wants to beat me up over that, they certainly can send me a message, but it's very lopsided, so to speak.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
by the
Yeah.
way, next time you're in Phoenix, you let me know, man. So I wanted to address that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will be meeting up. Yes, sir. Uh, so, a lot of people, just like I say, a lot of people sit on the sidelines. They don't want to take that action. I'm also seeing, because you said 6 years ago when you were, I guess, with Legacy or Rich Dad Poor Dad, I actually started 6 years ago. And I just made a motivational video yesterday about, 6 years ago, there was no such thing as mobile home investing. Even though it was there, it was very low key. You had to really seek it out. But if you get online now, you have there's a wholesaler, there's a bird dog, there's an investor, flipper, etc. They're everywhere, and it's definitely growing. What do you say to somebody? You see so many people rushing into it at this time and just kind of trying to take action into it.
Somebody that wants to rush into it. I mean, hey, as long as you have reserves set to the side, I don't see any problem rushing into it. Matter of fact, I think someone else is racing to the finish line before you. So, hey, get there as quick as possible. If you got to wake up early, gosh, I remember I remember it was motivational to hear people waking up at 5 a.m. to start their day. And I don't do this anymore because I don't have to do this anymore. But once upon a time, I said, man, people are waking up at 5 a.m. Gosh, that means in order for me to beat those guys who are hustlers, I got to wake up at 3 a.m. So I'll kid you not, man, I'm waking up at 3 a.m. I'm at the gym. My eyes are bloodshot. I'm like, this is crazy. And yeah, so depending on how successful you want to be in this, and matter of fact, if you're going to do anything, don't half-ass it. Go into it with full steam ahead, but play it smart. Have some reserves set aside, just like what I said when I quit my job. Have some money put to the side so you play it smart.
Absolutely. Yeah. Have some type of plan to this minimum. Yeah. And do you think more and more investors in the mobile home business is a good thing, or we're starting to see a small real estate overcrowd congestion here?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a big fan of competition, to be honest with you, but I can tell you this, if I'm doing better than somebody, or I'm sorry, let me back up. I'm not a big fan of competition, but in actuality, it really does help you play at your fullest potential. I mean, if we don't have like I think about it this way, like if Starbucks doesn't have a competitor, Starbucks isn't going to be who they are. Where they're, more conveniently located. They have, more options and drinks. I mean, that's the same thing with what we do. Like if I'm going to have competition, that means I'm going to have to make sure I'm still being held to a standard that the market is requiring. So I'm going to have to work hard. And I'm not going to have to, I'm not going to be able to sit on the sidelines and just ask myself, why can't I wholesale any homes anymore? When perhaps there's new technological changes that everybody's advanced in, and that's what's the new thing. So competition helps you be the best version that you possibly can be. I hate saying that term because everybody uses it, but it's so true, man. Like, so again, not a big fan of competition, but really all it does is just drive me to play harder.
No, that's very well put. I always tell people it's it's not a competition, it's a networking. If you know how to use it, it works to your convenience. But that's very good. It brings the best out of you. I'm gonna quote you on that one there. So, is there a better or worse time to invest in real estate and or mobile homes?
No, all year round, everybody needs affordable living. So no matter where, depending on the market, like again, I'm coming from a very biased perspective. Arizona is a very hot market for real estate. So when you start to push people out of the way that can't, perhaps win a bid war with, let's say a 2,000 square foot residential single family, you start to see a segment of the market start to look at other alternatives for living because they're starting to see, wow, we need something that's a little bit more affordable. So in my particular market, it's very hot and it has been for many years. So I don't see any time of the year we're selling properties in a very fast pace. So I'm biased in that regard. I would almost say in most states, Texas, Florida, some of these big dogs where a lot of manufactured homes are at, it's a great time any season.
Absolutely. What is your definition of success?
Oh gosh, you make me pull that off the top of my head. Definition of success. Somebody that so I come from I'm a Christian. I come from that background. So a definition of success is a happy wife, I love the fact that I have somebody to give me biblical wisdom and somebody that can really help me be a better person. I suck in a lot of areas, but I can tell you this, I feel successful in knowing that I'm not who I used to be. I'm certainly not where I want to be. And that's because of having a great partner. So I see a lot of success in business and other areas of relationships with friends and family, all from my spouse. So that's my definition. And yeah, so hopefully that helps.
Very good. Very good. Absolutely. Last question. What is your biggest goal for 2021? I know you did great things last year.
Yeah, biggest goal for 2021. I actually wrote them down. It's actually just outside my office. Our goal is to bring on another 10 seller finance properties. So we already have the goal for how we're going to do that. We're going to advertise direct mail every month instead of every other month. So our goal is to still aim for a growing number of disposition properties in comparison to last year. So I like to be north of 60, but I'm okay if we can find ways to hit the same amount of sold properties this year, but find ways to make more money or monetize on that one deal. Because I start to think in the future, all right, well, next year, let's say I flip 70 homes, and the year after that, I'm gonna have to flip 80 homes. I'm gonna start putting a toll on myself. How is it that we can do 50 or 60 flips this year? Because we know what it takes to do that. We did it last year, but monetize and make more money on each deal. So ultimately, that is our goal from the mobile home aspect. But from real estate, I want to bring on another 7 doors, and I think we're going to be able to do that pretty quick because now we're looking at multi-units more heavily. I'd like to buy a 10-unit multifamily if possible, but that's something that I'm definitely placing on my wife. She does that aspect of the business. But as far as some other goals, really want to go to Israel. If we can somehow get out of the country, want to go and do a mission trip over there. And I definitely want to do more. We're really heavily involved in CrossFit. So I have some weightlifting goals. So got to keep the body fit. So that's my goal.
There you go. We'll say I'm into bodybuilding. I never did get into CrossFit too much. Bodybuilding was always my thing. So
man, I used to talk so much smack on CrossFit. I gotta say, man, because I did powerlifting growing up. I talked so much smack on CrossFit, and I said, all right, let me try it out. My wife was a CrossFit instructor for years. I go and try it out, and man, I got my butt whooped. So I'm like, all right, okay. I'm humbled, right? They say the exalted will be humbled, and yeah, so I got hooked on that.
nice. Okay. Well, great. No, definitely. Congratulations on all your success. You're doing phenomenal. Thank you. And definitely the partnership you talk about with your wife. I think that is huge. That is key to anything. So Brandon, anybody that in your area over Phoenix that wants to connect with you, how can they find you? How can they do so?
Yeah, have them send me an email, info@mobilehomeguyz.com. That's with a Z, GUYZ. So info@mobilehomeguyz.com. Send me an email, and I'd love to connect.
Absolutely. And I'll link it to the bottom of this link as well, share the video with you. So, well, great. It's a pleasure meeting you, having you on here, and definitely you and I will be in touch when I head out your way. So
Absolutely, brother. Appreciate you having me here.
all right. Thank you.
Thanks.